All right, so for today's project, we're going to make a mold, or at least we're gonna work on at least half of the mold. It's a simple two-piece mold. We're just going to use Delrin. It's very small piece. I've got two chunks of this that we cut on the bandsaw, and you can see the nice work the bandsaw does. So because they're so square, I can just clamp this directly in the vise. I'm going to clamp it very shallow, cut all the features, and then flip it and take off the excess that I don't need. Okay, so as you can see right here, I've got the master cam opened up, and here's our file that we're going to cut. The first thing I'm going to do is cut this pocket out, because this is critical. This is kind of a Class A surface, so this has to have a pretty good surface finish. Okay, we're going to start with a 1/8 inch bull nose, so it's got a 20 thou corner radius. And this is just a McMaster purchase thing, so right here is the end mill that we're using. So that'll be our first thing, and what we're going to start with is a dynamic OptiRough. You can see right here, so there's what we're going to do. So it's kind of short step downs and just hogging out what's right here. Then we'll follow this up with a, what is it? It's a flat end mill, just to define some of the corners of this stuff down in here and around these posts, and also surface off the tops of these. And then we're going to go in with a, looks like we're going to use the bull end mill again, I think, to define this, maybe this floor. And then we do a ball, so a very small ball end mill. So let's get this first Toolpath rolling and see what we got. So to set this up in the machine, I've got the origin at the center of the part and the top of the part, basically. So what I'll do is put a piece of tape on here, just run across corner to corner, make a square, make an X. That's the center of the part. And then I'll just kind of eyeball it, because this, I believe, is a 1/4 inch big. You know, so an 1/8 of cut off on each side. So that's how we'll set this thing up. All right, I got the part located with the old X thing. So I did the X and Y location that way, and then touched off this facing end mill up here, and went down, I think, 10 thou, and that's going to be our Z0 right there. So let's see how this cleans up, and then we should just move right into that little tiny bull end mill and kind of rough in the pocket. Okay, we finished up with two tools. We roughed in pocket, and then we finished this little boss with the same tool, and then we finished the bottom with a flat end mill. Now what we've got to do is clean up the sides, the edges here. All right, we got the part out of the machine. I drilled all the holes. I'll show you what these are for in a second. Finished off the edge down to depth, and then all we have to do is flip it over and take off this extra little bit on the bottom, and it's done. So I've got this fancy lens. I'll throw this on and see if you can see what I see. So that's kind of what I can do for them in plastic. Of course, you know, hand finishing, we could get a little better. I'm not sure if that little boss that's sticking up right there, that pin, I'm not sure if I knocked the top of that off, broke it or not. but we'll have a look. We'll do a little measuring. Okay, like I said, these holes in the corner right here are for little hardened pin guides. So they should drop right in that clearance, and then this should be a light press. So let's see what we got. They start, and I can get them in a little ways by hand, but it looks like we'll have to push that in with the arbor press. All right, we got those guides pushed in. You can see they're just below the surface, exactly what we wanted. There we go. And then what's used in those guides in the other piece. In the other piece of the mold will be these pins. This one's round, and it's a very, very precise fit. And then this one has a bit of a diamond pattern. And that's just so we don't over constrain this, make it really hard to get apart. So those will press into the other half of the mold. And then these are clearance for some dowels, some 6mm dowels, just clearance. In the other piece, what will happen is you'll drop a part in, and then there'll be two halves of, I like to call this a two-piece mold, but it actually has four pieces. There's two halves of kind of a shield that goes in to stop the flow of material onto some threads. All right, so we finished up the mold. What do we call this thing? The mold cavity. So there's another section of this mold that goes together. We're going to go ahead and end it with making this cavity. Didn't show you any chips flying because this thing's so small. The end mills were so small. You turn, I cut everything with 2.5mm ball and a 1/8 square corner 1/8 and a 1/8 with a 20 thou corner radius. So that's what we cut the entire thing with. If I look on my Mastercam, we did facing, 3D high-speed dynamic OptiRough, horizontal hybrid equal scallop. I had some pockets. I did standard old school pockets here, and then contour around the edge. So that's kind of the order of work. All the tool paths. Of course, it's Delrin. Everybody looks like a champ with Delrin. It cuts so smooth and so nice. This is just to do some prototype pieces. If I had to do this and make a product that had to survive many shots, of course it would be probably out of steel. But this is good for prototype work. It's a heck of a lot better than you can 3D print, that's for sure. Anyways, more to come. We'll cut the other half of this in the next installment, and maybe we'll show a little bit more detail as it's cutting with my fancy new macro lens. I can throw that on the camera and get pretty close to the work. See the chips fly. So, anyways, stay tuned, like and subscribe, and more content coming.